Margaret Kuhlman of Soul Astrology. There is no doubt we're going through very interesting times. Turbulence at present. Looking at the chart of the new moon, what really stands out is this T-square, where Saturn opposite Mercury are both at loggerheads with the true and necessary direction of humanity, Mars and Uranus, on the north node of the moon. It's as though we have a sense in us, and the energy of the time is showing us that we need to let go of how things actually are at present. We have to let go of what we think, what we have been thinking life was really about, and what's actually going on in the world. Just let go. It doesn't mean to say that what you have understood is wrong. It's just holding on to it doesn't help. It doesn't allow it to change and unfold itself. The unfolding is going on anyway, but we become more and more attached to the past if we insist on seeing things the way we have seen them before. The insistence prevents our growing understanding and consequently our own personal growth. We hold ourselves back by wanting things to remain stable so that we can go on enjoying the pictures on the wall. This is what Uranus is about. It's about letting go of what has been. The present is continually unfolding itself. You probably know all these things. But just at this new moon, there is a kind of emphasis on enjoying ourselves with the Mercury in Leo, but the sense that if we can't enjoy ourselves the way we want to, that there's something desperately wrong, and that's the Saturn opposite. It's like, but there are things going on in the world, and my small little life is being impacted. And this is the bit. It's like I want to go on enjoying what I enjoyed before. And this is what we're being asked to let go of. So it's not that we don't know what we have to do, it's just that at the moment it's a bit of a turbulent job trying to go along with it. Perhaps because Mercury trines Chiron. It's been trining Chiron for the last week, and Chiron is that sense that we've lost our independence. Chiron in Aries. So it's making stabs at being independent, not being sure one can handle it. The square to Mars and Uranus is suggesting that if we let go of how we thought we could handle it before, that actually we'll be surprised that new things can open up. And there's the sun and moon in early Leo, 5.5 degrees Leo, trining Jupiter and moving in towards that trine. So this month is about being centered in oneself, in one's own light, so that that's the light that radiates out. It's just being oneself. No expectations, no projected achievements, just oneself in the moment of each breath. Breathe in, let the lungs massage the heart, feel the beating heart, and relate to one's life from there. So although there looks like this difficult turbulence, there is such a lot of joy in this chart. For the first half of the month, Venus will remain in Cancer. In terms of our relating, the sextile to Mars and Uranus suggests that relationships will be very supportive in this change. and that maybe the drive to be oneself reveals things that are more difficult to deal with. Those squares from the Venus to Chiron and to Jupiter. So a lot of love and caring that can be applied to any difficulties that we have. So what may look like being selfishly independent will actually be supported as we make the changes. Don't let fear hold you back, ever. Caution, okay. Fear, no. By the time we get to the full moon, Venus has just moved into Leo, having trined Neptune on the way. So a more sensitive way of relating, having unfolded, and then just the joy, the pleasure, the warmth and positivity of togetherness. This is interesting how in the full moon chart, the sun and moon have taken over that difficulty that the Mercury was having in the first half. So what was perhaps a difficulty in communication and understanding reaches its flowering by the 12th of August, with the moon taking the position of Saturn. So a recognition that however much we feel at the heart we may have lost or been held back, that the light has been a bit crushed, that actually the reasons are all part of the necessity of accepting group structures. The confusion here would seem to be who is the authority in one's life. It may seem to be an external thing, that rules are made and in a sense you have to obey them. But there is following a rule and obeying authority, and these two things are not necessarily the same. The only authority we should obey is our own inner wisdom. We need to be the authority in our life. And we, from this authoritative position inside, may choose to follow the rules. Make the following of rules a choice, even if you can't see an alternative. Know that there are always alternatives, and you may choose not to take those. The necessities of life have to do with the survival of the body. Mars in Taurus is our energetic connection to nature, the earth. And in this full moon chart, Mars is connecting very strongly with Pluto and Neptune. They're beautiful connections. It's an acceptance. It's a being together with. It's like being on the sea with your surfboard and waiting for the wave. And as the wave comes, you go with it. You lift, you hold to your board, which is the inner strength, and you let the wave take you, because there isn't really a survival alternative. So this is about that beautiful acceptance, and with Neptune involved, it's about the spirit moving the physical. And we don't know what it will be. There's no knowing. So have your surfboard ready. Hold it to your centre. All we can know is that what happens is appropriate. It's not about rules. It's about necessity. By the full moon also, Mercury is in the middle of Virgo, coming up to trining North Node, Uranus, Mars. The second half of the month looks much more as if we've got the hang of regarding the details that are necessary, understanding what's required of the moment. This big T-square seems to me to be about claiming inner authority and making sure that we don't fall into the trap of thinking that we have to obey. Remembering that it's always about choice. We are free, this is a fact. Inwardly, we are free. What stops us from being free internally is our insistence on holding on. It's so simple and yet difficult. And yet maybe not difficult. Maybe it's just a matter of letting the penny drop a little further and realizing that the spirit that's in charge of the whole movement of life, that holds life and is life, is what we are. It's a big realization to have. Wonderful. So perhaps this month is about allowing that penny to drop a little further, remembering how we are spirit. Deep, deep connection with all that is. Not just with other people, but with the whole movement of life. Another thing that happens with this kind of thinking is that it can be felt that there are levels, and that these levels are separate from each other. The spiritual level and the practical level and the emotional level, as if they are all independent levels. We know they're connected, but like with connections. I don't really know how to say this, but I don't think that's how to see it. It's all happening at once. It's all there. It morphs in our understanding because our understanding isn't capable of seeing the whole thing. So we focus differently. It's like everything all being together, but the focus in ourselves, our own focus, is what shifts to enable us to register different ways of seeing things. The spirit is what is, everything. In some ways, it's almost easier to understand spirit being all things, in the spaces in between the things, as though spirit is condensed when it forms what we see as stuff, things. I feel sure that you understand what I mean. Words can't really do it justice, at least my words. So let the penny drop, the realization filter through as far as it can into our being. And enjoy this month. Enjoy the changes, the different things that we can do. Enjoy each other as we change, not knowing who each other is becoming, but finding deeper and deeper aspects until in the end we see the spirit of ourselves looking back through others' eyes. Thank you. All is well. You may tire of hearing these words, but once you allow them truly, deeply inside your heart to settle down into your roots and feed you, you will realize that there is nothing to do but be and enjoy the life you are living as it unfolds.